People ask me sometimes, what does a retired computer engineer actually do all day? Well, this might surprise you. Because after spending 40 odd years around computers, warehouses, floppy disks, computer systems worth thousands, well, millions really, after retirement, I somehow ended up underground. Twice. After retirement, I somehow became a cave guide, Father Christmas, and part-time insect catcher. Nobody told me retirement was going to be like this. Retirement's a funny thing. People imagine you putting your feet up, nice cup of tea, bit of gardening, perhaps muttering gently at daytime television. Didn't quite happen like that. No. I became a cave guide. First at Wookiee Hole, and Wookiee was, well, that was performance, proper performance. Families, coach trips, holiday crowds, sometimes 30 people at a time. Officially. Now the system relied on the guide behind you counting people into your group. Perfectly sensible. Unless Brian was behind you. Lovely bloke, Brian. Wonderful guide. Sadly passed on now. Really knew his caves. But counting? Well, I'm not entirely convinced. Or he had a very wicked sense of humour. Because somehow you'd begin with 30 people, and by the time you got underground, you appeared to be leading what felt suspiciously like the population of a small Somerset village. 60 sometimes. And there I be, trying to make sure everybody could hear, nobody wandered off, and still tell the stories properly. Bit of theatre, really, which probably helped, given my old amateur dramatic days. But then I guided at Cheddar, and Cheddar felt completely different. Quieter, less standing in front of crowds, more quietly standing in the cave, talking to visitors, answering questions, showing people strange formations in the rock, explaining how water can spend thousands of years quietly making something beautiful. And if things were quiet, you'd find yourself imagining, wondering, thinking about who might once have walked through those caves, what stories the rocks had heard. Truth is, I think that's where the Cheddarkin really started. Not written down, not properly, just little stories in my head while standing underground, keeping myself entertained, really. And mind you, Cheddar has a funny way of getting into people's imaginations. Little fact for you. Back in 1916, a certain gentleman spent part of his honeymoon in Somerset, visited Cheddar, saw the caves, the gorge, heard the stories of the place, and many believe what he found here stayed with him, enough that he returned. Because later, bits of caves and landscapes not entirely unlike Cheddar quietly found their way into some rather famous stories. The man? J.R.R. Tolkien. So perhaps I'm not the only person who stood underground at Cheddar and started imagining things. Mind you, that still wasn't the strangest retirement job. Father Christmas. 9 years of it. Some spent at Wookiee Hole in the grotto, and then deep underground at Cheddar. Now, that's not a sentence I expected to say after a career in computer engineering. And one Christmas, Lord Bath, Sulin, brought his children to see Santa, which felt faintly surreal, really. One minute you're sorting out computer systems, next minute you're underground in a red suit talking to children while a marquis watches. Retirement's odd like that. And then there was the gift shop job at Longleat, right next to the insect house. Now, that sounds perfectly normal until things escaped. And every now and again, someone would quietly say, "Stephen, one's out." And suddenly, the retired computer engineer who once worked on expensive computer systems was apparently part-time insect recovery department. Nobody mentions this bit at retirement planning seminars. Funny thing is, though, I thought retirement meant slowing down, stopping, becoming less. But looking back, computer engineer, cave guide, gift shop assistant, Father Christmas, storyteller, and now talking to artificial intelligence, it turns out curiosity doesn't retire. It just finds somewhere new to wander. And maybe that's the trick to getting older. Not stopping, just becoming somebody else for a while. Truth is, in 10 years of retirement, it sometimes feels like I've lived a second lifetime of experiences. And honestly, I wouldn't have missed it for the world.